They laughed at her tattoo, called it a gimmick, a decoration for someone who wanted to look like a warrior but would never actually become one. But when the base was attacked and chaos tore through the compound, that same woman revealed skills that froze every soldier in their tracks. And when the Navy SEAL commander arrived, what he did next silenced the entire camp. This is the untold story of Corporal Ava Reid, the soldier underestimated until the moment she proved that appearances can hide legends. Welcome to Truth Untwists, where we uncover hidden stories of courage, resilience, and the moments that rewrite military history. If you believe these stories deserve to be told, make sure you subscribe so you never miss the next one. When Corporal Ava Reid reported to Forward Operating Base Halberd in northern Afghanistan, she drew attention for the wrong reasons. She carried herself with quiet confidence. But what the other soldiers noticed first wasn't her bearing. It was the phoenix tattoo curling across her left forearm. To them it looked flashy, unprofessional, a symbol of someone trying too hard. Within days, whispers spread, wanna be tough, rear echelon type, nothing more. In the barracks, soldiers joked about her. Hey Reid, that bird's supposed to fly you out of here when it gets tough. They laughed, not knowing she'd heard it all before. What none of them knew was that the phoenix wasn't decoration. It was a mark from a unit they'd never heard of, a program that didn't officially exist, a mark of fire, endurance, and secrecy. Before her assignment at FOB Halberd, Ava had been part of a classified sniper detachment known internally as Project Scorpius. Selected for her uncanny vision, steady hand, and calm under pressure, she had trained in some of the harshest environments imaginable. Jungles, Arctic ranges, and mountain ridges were denouements, where a single mistake meant death. But on paper, she was just a supply clerk reassigned after injury. That's how classified operations worked. You vanished, resurfaced, resurfaced in a different role, and nobody asked questions. She carried her secrets in silence, letting the others think what they wanted. It was just past midnight when the attack came. A moonless night, the kind insurgents loved. The perimeter sensors tripped first, then the thump of mortars shook the base. Automatic fire erupted across the wire. Inside the barracks, soldiers scrambled, half-dressed, grabbing rifles and helmets. Confusion reigned. The quick reaction force rushed out, but the infiltrators were already inside the wire, slipping through shadows, targeting key assets. Gunfire cracked near the comms tent. Shouts rang through the compound. They're inside the wire! Ava, standing by her cot with her rifle slung, didn't hesitate. She didn't wait for orders. Her instincts, honed in places her unit didn't know existed, took over. While others ducked for cover, Ava sprinted toward the armory. She knew the base's layout, the weak points, the blind angles. From a rooftop near the motor pool, she dropped into a firing position, her rifle steady. Through her scope, she picked out figures moving where no friendlies should be. Calmly, she squeezed. One hostile down. Adjust, breathe, fire. Another dropped before he could plant charges. Over the radio, frantic voices shouted, "Who's firing from Overwatch? Identify!" Nobody recognized the call sign she used. Guardian actual, targets neutralized. The firefight raged for 20 minutes. Mortars shook the compound. The infiltrators pressed hard. But every time they tried to breach another sector, Ava's precision fire cut them down. At one point, 3 insurgents armed with RPGs crawled into position near the fuel depot. A single rocket there would have turned the base into fire and chaos. Ava steadied her rifle. One shot first fighter down. Quick adjustment, second gone. The third hesitated, looking for cover. Too late. 3 rounds, 3 lives saved. Her calm voice echoed across the radio net. Depot secure. Push your defense forward. Soldiers who had mocked her earlier now realized someone was quietly saving them, shot by shot. 47 minutes after the first mortar landed, the compound fell quiet. Smoke hung heavy, the acrid smell of spent rounds drifting across the base. Bodies were counted, equipment secured. The infiltrators were gone, retreating into the night, leaving behind their dead. And at the center of it all was the woman nobody had trusted. Ava climbed down from her rooftop perch, rifle slung casually, as if she had just finished another training drill. At dawn, a SEAL detachment arrived to assess the situation. Their commander, a broad-shouldered officer with a chest full of ribbons, listened to the debrief. Soldiers spoke of an unknown marksman, someone who had covered them all when the wire was breached. "Who was it?" the commander asked. Slowly, all eyes turned to Ava Reid. She stood silently, boots dusty, uniform torn from crawling across gravel. She didn't offer excuses. She didn't explain. She simply stood at attention. The SEAL commander studied her tattoo, the phoenix, and his expression shifted. He knew what it meant. Then, to the astonishment of everyone present, he raised his hand in a crisp salute. The barracks fell silent. Soldiers who had mocked her froze, their jokes turning to stunned disbelief. The commander's words carried across the compound. "Respect where it's due. You kept this base alive tonight. And for the record, she's no clerk." From that day forward, nobody laughed at Ava Reid. The phoenix tattoo, once ridiculed as a gimmick, became a mark of honor. Soldiers gave her space in the chow hall. Recruits whispered her name like a legend. She never bragged, never told her full story. But those who were there on that night knew the truth. She had turned a doomed situation into survival, and the salute of a SEAL commander had made it official. Corporal Ava Reid's story is a reminder that true strength doesn't announce itself with noise or ego. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for the moment it's needed most. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who's been underestimated. And don't forget to subscribe to Truth Untwists for more untold stories of courage, resilience, and the hidden legends of military history. Because sometimes the tattoo they laugh at is the mark of a warrior.